This is Karen, popping in to let you know that we here at Sister Sharpens Sister are not professionals of any kind. Today's topic discusses brain health and cognitive decline. If you feel like that you or a family member are experiencing memory loss, please seek out the help of a qualified medical professional. And now, back to our regular schedule. Oh, I did not hear you say, so if I go over here, you can still hear me. No, Shalon, I'm being an asshole.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure because I forgot to turn it off before I turned my phone on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can hear you. Is it on now?
It is, yeah.
Okay, well go back to the bookshelf.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, see, when you're up close like that, your background looks like a green screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does to
No.
me. Does it you, Dee Dee?
Yeah, he kind of does.
Well, it ain't. It's real.
Welcome to another episode of Sister Sharpens Sister. My name is Karen. In the green shirt, you will see,
I'm Dee Dee.
and wearing the black sweater is
Shalom.
Shalon. She's got her fancy little fuzzy mic there, which is really cute. I like it, and I'm kind of jealous actually.
I feel professional.
Do you?
$12 on Amazon.
Wow, that's all it takes to be a professional is $12. I'm in.
Hey, with the rising cost of college and all that good stuff, that may be the way to go.
Um,
Today's topic is brain health. And we've hit several different things related to food and our bodies and the best outcomes that we can have for our health and just our general overall well being. Now, one of the things that we want to talk about is why the standard American diet is problematic for brain health. The standard American diet, or SAD, which I love the acronym. One of the main problems with the standard American diet is that it's high in saturated fats and excessive sugars and refined carbohydrates. Now, when it comes to fat, you're either, you're straddling the fence, or you believe that fat is good and healthy for you, or you believe it is absolutely the devil. I personally kind of believe that some fats are healthy for you because a lot of our hormones require fat in order to be produced. And
yes.
also, our brains are made up of a lot of fat and cholesterol. So
Yeah,
that's something
cholesterol
to
is not
take
the
into
enemy either.
consideration. Say again?
I said cholesterol is not the enemy either.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And there's a lot of research coming out here recently about debunking the myth that eggs were bad for you.
Well, yeah, my
So,
theory on that, and I think I've talked to you guys about this before, but in an egg, you have everything you need to make a living, breathing animal.
yep,
You have to fertilize it, but it still has everything in it you need to make a living, breathing animal. So why is it not healthy to eat?
exactly. Exactly. And another reason why the standard American diet is not typically good for brain health is the processed and ultra processed foods. And one of the things that I was reading here recently, and this has been like when I say recently, it could have been like 3 months ago, but they were talking about soft foods being
Mm.
ultra processed. And the example that this guy was using was the puffed Cheetos, right? You don't think of that as a soft food because it crunches when you eat it. He
Mm-hmm.
said, but if you were to squish all the air out of that, I mean, the size of a Cheeto, think
You have a
puffy
crunchy
Cheeto, think
Cheeto.
about the size of your thumb, and then you squish it, and there's not a whole lot of volume there. So that's why you can eat almost an entire bag of those things and still be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So the standard American diet typically is also low in fruits and vegetables, and those are absolutely necessary to get the nutrients that we need, not only vitamins but minerals as well. And some fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, they contain a little bit of protein, and protein, in my opinion, is king.
Mm-hmm.
He's wallering.
I can't hear him.
Okay, good. Um, Brain health and reduced risk of cognitive decline has been studied along with diet to figure out which diet is actually best. And the number one, straight off the top, no matter where you go and look, is the Mediterranean diet.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And the
is high in
Mediterranean diet is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, fish, and olive oil. What'd you say, Shalom?
I said it's high in fat.
Yes, it is. It's high in fat. It's low in carbohydrate. It is low in processed foods. It's low in sugar. So, can you not, sir, please? I can't hear them when they're talking if your whiskers are sticking straight up. One of the other diets that they have studied in relation to our cognitive health is something called the MIND diet, MIND, which is a hybrid, excuse me, it's a hybrid of the Mediterranean diet and a diet called the DASH diet, DASH. And DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. So it emphasizes, again, same thing that the Mediterranean diet does, fruits and vegetables and whole grains. It emphasizes lean protein and limited sodium intake. But the DASH diet does say to restrict your uh, dairy. It says to restrict your saturated and trans fats. Now, trans fats I can see. Saturated fats not so much. I mean, that's what's in eggs is saturated
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah.
I think
And
it's important to focus on your source of saturated fat when you're thinking about avoiding it. I mean, if you're looking at saturated fat in something that's processed, absolutely throw it away. If it's from a
mhm.
fish or an egg, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. You need that stuff too. That's also, when it comes to building muscle, that stuff is needed.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Now, the main takeaway from that information is to eat a healthier diet, something that's more
Mm-hmm.
balanced and more whole
Mm-hmm.
food
Mm-hmm.
focused.
Mm-hmm.
Less processed stuff, less stuff that comes out of a box or a bag,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's frozen. Now, your frozen vegetables and frozen fruits and stuff like that can still be a
Yeah.
good source of
Mm-hmm.
nutrition for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the standard American diet is failing us
That's
straight
sad.
out.
That's sad.
That is sad.
What I have basically is just overall what our brains need for health to be healthy. Food is definitely one of them. We also need regular exercise, several times a week, 30 to 60 minutes each time is what's recommended. You can do a variety of different things. You can walk, swim, play tennis, get together with friends and play basketball. Any type of moderate aerobic activity that will increase your heart rate and keep your heart rate increased.
And
That is recommended. Sorry?
also, also, you don't have to do it all in that one lump. You can
No,
divide it
no.
up in the day and it's still
Yeah,
as effective.
that is correct. You could do 10 minutes in the morning, I don't know, 10 minutes when you get home from work and 10 minutes before you go to bed.
Yeah,
Hmm.
If that works for you, that's 30 minutes. Or 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes when you get home. And that's 30 minutes. So you also need plenty of sleep. And it's recommended for most people 7 to 8 consecutive hours, which means not waking up and going back to sleep, not waking up. So, that's not good sleep. Um, and there are some series that state that sleep helps clear abnormal proteins in your brain and consolidates memories, which boosts your overall memory and brain health. So, sleep is important. You also need to stay mentally active. Our brains are not muscles, but they are like muscles in the way that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And you could do things, you could do fun things. If you like crossword puzzles, do crossword puzzles. You can play
Jigsaw
cards,
puzzle.
jigsaw puzzles. Yes, those are
Yeah.
good ones too. There are other kinds of activities. And I did find a little something that said the quote unquote paid brain training programs are not recommended because they often overpromise results and focus on memorization skills. And it's not all about memorization skills. It's about using your brain, not just memorizing. Like
Mm-hmm.
solving problems, like you're doing a jigsaw puzzle. You got a big problem to solve, right?
I got
Or
a
five
thousand
hundred or a
questions.
thousand piece of puzzle.
Yes. It's also recommended that you remain socially active. It helps ward off depression and stress. So you need to find ways to connect to loved ones and friends, and you can do this through work or through church or going to the park or talking to your neighbors. There's a number of different ways that you can do this. Now, if you become anxious when you get out into society, if you feel anxious about that, you should go talk to a mental health professional
Mm-hmm.
because it's supposed to help you relieve your stress and anxiety, not cause it.
Right.
So if you're feeling that it's causing you to have those, you need to go talk to a mental health professional. And I've got some websites to share if you feel like whenever you do go out in public that you're starting to feel anxious and stressed and everything, and that, so you could go read and see if that is how you are, and if it is, you can get the appropriate help. And if you live alone, it is especially important that you become socially active, right? Because
Yes.
if you're married, you have at least another person you can communicate with and engage with and stuff. Or if you have children, you have your children you can engage with.
Yeah.
So,
Um, we're finding that with my husband's mother,
hmm
Arnie's mom. She is 94, no, 95, 95.
hmm
Lives by herself. She is sharp as a tack. She was a drafts person for Goodyear in Ohio, up in Akron or Cuyahoga Falls, wherever the thing was. And right now she's living in an assisted living facility where she has
right,
her own apartment, but they serve the meals downstairs. She's got a small
hmm
kitchenette, one of those kind of setups,
right,
and she doesn't know anybody around her. And we have seen the depression creep in on her.
hmm
And she's actually moving at the end of the month to a different state and she's going to be near like five or six cousins.
right,
And when I say near, like three of them are within walking distance for her at
right.
95.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing. And it's not only
hmm
a thing for older people, but younger people too. You were
Right.
talking about being socially active. Now, my
hmm
youngest son
hmm
hates going out into a crowd,
Right.
hates it. A lot of it has to do with his experience in the service
Yep. My husband's the same
because
way.
he's actually hyper alert
Yes.
in those situations. If somebody's behind him, he's always looking to see who it is. He's watching people's hands to see where
hmm
people's hands are. Um, all of that are indications of like PTSD.
hmm
And he's been seeing a social worker,
hmm
and I have seen him be more relaxed.
That's good.
I think it's done amazing work for him. He's actually started journaling
Nice.
this past month. He's keeping also a dream journal
That's good.
because he has night terrors.
hmm
Um, so he's done a lot of work, and I've seen a lot of progress in him in
That's
that.
good. That's real good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's still not the kind of person that'll stand in line at Walmart and, strike up a conversation with the person behind him about the price of payday or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
my husband's the same way in public. He doesn't like to be in crowds. It's not that he won't go out in public, but if he goes somewhere and there's a huge crowd, he will distance himself from the crowd.
yeah,
And
yeah,
anytime he and I go out to eat, he always, regardless of nothing, always put his back to the wall.
yep,
Always.
yeah. Whenever we go out to eat with our son,
Hmm.
Arnie and I, or if it's just me, he gets the first pick of seats.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
so
what do
yeah.
we
So,
need to eat for our brain health?
ooh,
All right, number one, are you ready? Fatty fish,
I like
right?
fish. Yes.
Yes. I'm not a big fish eater. I will eat tuna once in a while. It's on the list. Tuna is.
Yeah, tuna is a fatty fish. You
Yeah.
can also get the
Fish
good
oil.
stuff in the fish from like supplements or like walnuts,
Yes. Well,
things
it's
like that. Mhm.
fatty fish. So you've got salmon, tuna, mackerel, sardines, and other fatty fish that are rich, excuse me, in omega-3 fatty acids,
Mhm.
especially something called DHA. Now I'm going to try to
Hmm.
pronounce this. You ready?
Yeah.
Uh, Docosahexaenoic acid. I do not know if that's correct or not. The recommended intake, now there's two different recommendations. The FDA says no more than 3 grams per day of DHA, and then the National Institute of Health says no more than 5 grams per day of
Okay. So
DHA. Now,
so
one of
three
the
to
things
five.
that you have, huh?
So 3 to 5 grams a day.
3 to 5 grams. And then one of the things that you have to be careful with when you're taking this is that it can interact with prescription medications, especially something like blood thinners. So you have to be careful when you're doing that.
Hmm.
Omega 3s, which is what's in the fatty fish, supports our memory. It supports learning, so establishing new neural pathways. And they always say it may reduce the risk of cognitive decline.
Hmm.
Now, the next thing on the list
Wait, wait, wait,
is,
wait, wait.
oh,
We should
go.
know fish
What?
should be wild caught and not farm raised.
Right. Now, you have any recipes for fish?
I do.
Okay, what you got?
Well, I'm a salmon lover. I think it tastes so good. Where's my other paper? Did I not print it off? Hold on.
I just saw a guy on TikTok last night or the night before. He's an Appalachian guy. So he says, if you weren't raised on salmon patties and pinto beans, so I just thought it
Yeah.
was funny.
So this recipe is called walnut rosemary crusted salmon.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Now this is for 4 servings. It takes about 20 minutes. And the first thing you'll need to do is preheat your oven to 425.
Yes, because I
425 for
read.
fish.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
read too that when you're eating the fish for the health benefits, don't fry it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Bake
Yes,
it. Yeah.
I read. Yeah, because the really high temperatures that you need to fry fish and it not be real soggy and oily is it does bad things to the omega 3s. It like tears them apart to where they're not beneficial to you anymore. So you need to bake it.
Right. It destroys them. It's like if you're cooking with
Hmm.
olive oil, it has a low smoke point, like
Hmm.
325, I think. So if you go above that, it damages the nutrition that you're going to receive from the oil and also
Hmm.
like the fish like Dee's talking about.
Hmm.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1 clove of garlic minced, a quarter teaspoon lemon zest, 1 teaspoon lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh rosemary, half teaspoon honey, half teaspoon kosher salt, quarter teaspoon of crushed red pepper. I would leave that out because I don't like spicy stuff. 3 tablespoons of panko breadcrumbs, 3 tablespoons of finely chopped walnuts. So there's our other brain food. The next brain food is 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, and it calls for 1 pound of skinless salmon fillets. All right. So you're going to combine your mustard, your garlic, your lemon zest, lemon juice, rosemary, honey, salt, the crushed red pepper if you're using it, all in a small bowl. Then you're going to take your panko breadcrumbs with your walnuts and the olive oil, and you're going to combine it in a separate bowl. So you lay
So
out
you
your
want your walnuts to be finely chopped or
yes,
okay.
yes. So you're going to lay out your fish fillets on your pan. You're going to top it with the Dijon mustard mixture, and then top that with the breadcrumb walnut mixture. And
So
you
it
kind
only
of,
goes on the top?
it only goes on the top. It's not like this whole dredge thing like we think for Southern cooking.
Right, yeah, okay.
It's just on the top. And then all you're going to do from there, press it in, make sure it's all on there real good. And then you are going to bake them for about 8 to 12 minutes, depending on how thick they are, until they're nice and flaky. And that's that.
Have you had this?
No, but I often have salmon, and I two of my favorite things to put on salmon is rosemary and lemon juice. So I've done that combo before. Um, but I'm definitely going to try this one, but I'm going to have to do something else besides Dijon mustard because my hubs is allergic to mustard.
Wonder what else you
Just
could use.
just a note too about this, the skinless fish fillet. Some people like the skin of the fish, and it is healthy for you to eat.
It is, yeah.
It even has omega-3 fatty acids in it and all kinds of other stuff. So if you like it, it's okay to eat it and it's healthy.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I don't like it.
I've seen where people will take the skin off the salmon and they will crisp that up and have like a chip.
Salmon chip.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm definitely going to try that. Maybe I'll find a healthier mayonnaise.
Okay.
Maybe find a mayonnaise made with olive oil or avocado oil instead of, the other like vegetable oils.
Or make your own.
Or make my own, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Because
So the
mayonnaise ain't,
next food, I'm sorry, what?
I said mayonnaise ain't hard to make.
No, it's what, 2 ingredients, salt if you want it. The next food group we have are berries. Any fruit that ends in berry. Blueberry, strawberry, blackberry, raspberry, full of antioxidants. They have something that's called flavonoids, which doesn't really mean flavor, because the first time I saw that word, I was like, "Oh, is that talking about the flavor of the fruit?" No. That's something that helps to protect the cells in our brains from damage and inflammation. Studies are suggesting that it may improve memory and delay the age-related cognitive decline that you see when people get like in their 90s. Now, just as a side note, my mother-in-law is still sharp as a tack at 95. She eats pretty healthy. You got any berry recipes?
Well, I have a brain food smoothie recipe.
Sure.
I also have a watermelon and spinach salad recipe, a blueberry rosemary oat scone recipe.
Ooh, that one sounds really good. Go over
Yeah, it
that one.
does.
All right, this one is actually from a website, called Brain Healthy Recipes by Dr. I am not going to try to pronounce the name. Karen can put it up on the screen when I send the link.
I like the way she goes. That's where I'm going to put the name.
Yes, yes. All right, so this one uses oat flour versus the conventional, bleached all-purpose flour. So it is more of a whole grain. So you're going to need 2.5 cups of oat flour, One
And
and a
just a
half
side note, you can make your own oat flour. I've done that before.
Yeah, you just take oatmeal and blend it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a half a cup of monk fruit sweetener or any sweetener of choice. Maple syrup is a suggestion. The zest of 1 lemon, 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries. The doctor says they use frozen. 3 tablespoons of almond butter.
Excuse me. Almond butter.
Almond butter.
And
A
this is
third
a
of a cup
scone, right? This is not a smoothie.
scone. Mhm.
Okay.
A third of a cup of applesauce. 2/3 of a cup of unsweetened plant milk. They
So
say
like,
soy milk. If you are going to use soy milk, buy organic.
yeah.
But plant milk would be oat milk as well, almond milk. And then 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh rosemary and a tablespoon of ground flax seeds. There's another brain food.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, your oven is preheated to 375. You're going to line your baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone mat so it doesn't stick. Mix your flour, baking powder, monk fruit, sweetener, lemon zest in a large bowl, and then add your blueberries and toss until they're coated in the mixture. Add, did I say olive oil up here in the ingredients?
I don't remember hearing it, but
I don't remember hearing it either. Hold on. It's not listed, but it says add EVOO, which is extra virgin olive oil, applesauce, and the milk. I guess that when you're making a dough, I guess it could be if you need to add more to it to make it more like a biscuit dough because it's a scone. It's going to be like a biscuit. Mix it lightly until the mixture comes together. Then you're going to transfer the dough onto a lightly floured surface and pat it out. And they use a circle 1 inch thick, and then you're going to cut it into 8 triangles. So like a pizza, you're going to cut it like a pizza.
okay, yeah, all right.
You're going to brush the scones with a light dash of your plant-based milk, and then you're going to bake them for 12 to 15 minutes.
That sounds really good.
And I mean, it's very simple, although I wonder why it doesn't list extra virgin olive oil in the ingredients. But
Are,
yeah, I'm going to be trying every single one of these recipes I have.
well, next on our list, we have nuts and seeds, which we've already did one recipe that had walnuts in it, but the
We
nuts
did.
and seeds group includes walnuts, almonds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, like with the inside of a pumpkin seed is called something else.
Pepita.
Pepita? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, that's healthy fat, it's protein, it's vitamin E, which is really good, not only for our brain, but also our skin. Um, they protect the brain cells, support cognitive function, and offer a steady source of energy. But bear in mind, you don't want to eat the same amount of walnuts that you would eat potato chips because then that's too much. Too much of a good thing is still too much.
Yeah. Do y'all remember that thing that went around the internet that would put foods that look like our body parts, that they're actually good for the body part?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you remember that? And how a walnut looks like a brain and they're
Mm-hmm.
actually really good for our brain.
Yeah.
That's what I think of every time when I was looking these things up. That's all I could think of.
It's funny though, but salmon doesn't look like our brain. I mean, it might look like some people's brains, but hopefully it doesn't look like mine.
Well, no. And I think this thing that went around was more of a plant-based type thing anyway,
Right,
because
okay.
It was. It had like carrots and things like that. Yeah.
it talked about, tomatoes being good for the heart because 4 quadrants of a tomato and our hearts have 4 quadrants.
Hmm.
I do
I have
have
a,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I have a recipe for walnut and spinach pesto pasta if we want to share that one.
Yeah. You need to send that to me, please.
Yeah, well, it sounds yummy. It's called walnut and spinach pesto pasta, and it comes from a website called communityneuroservice.com. And it's 8 ounces of whole wheat or gluten-free pasta, 2 cups of packed fresh spinach leaves, 1 cup of fresh basil leaves, half cup of walnuts, two garlic cloves, half cup of grated Parmesan cheese or nutritional yeast for a vegan option, quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, salt and pepper to taste. Optional toppings: additional grated Parmesan cheese, cherry tomatoes, fresh basil leaves. You
It
cook the
sounds good.
pasta according. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You just cook the pasta according to the package instructions. Um, in a food processor or blender, combine the spinach, basil, walnuts, garlic, and grated Parmesan cheese or nutritional yeast. Olive oil, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. Blend until smooth. Scrape down the sides as needed. In a large mixing bowl, combine the cooked pasta and the walnut spinach pesto. Toss until the pasta is well coated with the pesto sauce. Serve the walnut and spinach pesto pasta with optional toppings, such as additional grated Parmesan cheese, cherry tomatoes, and fresh basil leaves.
Mm,
That
mm.
does
Yeah.
sound really good. Now, as a side note, if you don't know, nutritional yeast tastes like cheese if you put
Yeah,
enough of it in.
yeah.
Um, Next on our list is not a food category. It is one food: eggs. It's a good source of choline, lutein, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12, which are important for brain function, brain development. So if you are uh, of a reproductive age and you want to have children, or if you are pregnant, this is a good healthy food, unless you are allergic to it, of course. And it also helps with memory and mood regulation. And therein comes the healthy fats for the production of necessary hormones. And I've got some information on that later. Either of you guys have an egg recipe?
Well, no, not particularly, but I will often add spinach to an omelet.
Yeah, I always add spinach to omelets whenever I make
Yeah.
omelets.
I
Or you
mean,
can
Dee
add
Dee's
them to your.
gotten really good at omelets. I know you were posting pictures of omelets for a long time.
Oh, I forgot
So
Seriously,
do
about
you
your
doing
want to
that too.
omelets,
share
Yeah.
how you make your omelets?
yeah, your omelets look like they belong in a cookbook. Like they
Yes,
Oh,
look
they
like
do.
thank you guys.
a picture.
Well, it took a lot for me to learn how to do it. I cannot tell you how many YouTube pages I had to go to because I would try to make it, and then I'd have questions, and the one I was watching didn't answer the question. So I use pretty much like a 9-inch pan, and I will do a minimum of a 3 egg omelet for a 9-inch pan. The smaller your pan, the fewer eggs. The bigger your pan, the more eggs.
Right. Okay.
But and depending on the size of your eggs, because we've got some hens that lay smaller eggs, so I may do technically like a 5 egg omelet, but it's not. None of the eggs are small. But anyway, I just blend the eggs with a whisk. I put about a tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan. I heat it. Now the trick to doing a good omelet is don't let your pan get too hot.
Hmm.
Okay. Now you don't want it too low, but you don't want it too hot. For my stove, and it's an older stove, I have it set at a 4, and then as I'm cooking, I lower it to a 3. So
Do
you'll
you
have
have
to
a
find the
gas
right
stove or an
to
electric
use.
stove?
No, it's an electric stove. And then I put the eggs in, and when you put them in, try to be easy when you put them in, that way you don't have any splash out on the sides. Um, you will see when it starts forming what's called its floor, and its floor is the very bottom that's touching the pan. Because your edges, you'll start to see that they'll start cooking.
Hmm.
Okay, but leave it alone until that gets cooked to where the edge of it has a bit of space. And then you're going to want to make sure none of that is touching on the sides of your pan.
Okay.
Okay. Now you want to keep it cooking without anything in it. I don't know how long to tell you because I just look at it, and what I do is I'll take my spatula and I'll put it underneath the edge of it and I'll move it to see how much runny there still is. And when
Okay.
it's almost cooked, I put my stuff on the inside of it, and I like to do a burrito shaped omelet. So I put it in the center.
All right.
Then, and use a cap. I put a lid on it. You put a lid on it, that helps cook it faster. Okay, so you need a cap. And then I let it cook with my insides in it. And after it gets more cooked, I flip one side over and then I maneuver it around a little bit so I can have room to flip the other side over, or flip the other side over and top it. And I put a lid on it. And that's when I will take it down to like a 3.
Mm,
Okay. And that reason is so it won't get hard and crusty.
Mm.
Because, it just turns like brown. I don't
yeah.
like that. I like my
Yep.
omelets to be pretty. So even on the bottom, even though you can't see it, I don't want it to be brown on the bottom.
You can
So
taste it. It doesn't taste good.
yeah, you can, and I don't like it. I mean, I've done them like that before, and the what I found the trick to that is keeping a very close eye on your heat. And when you get to that final stage of where you've created your either your taco shaped one or your burrito shaped one, turn the heat down and then put a lid on it. Keep your lid on it because that lid will help cook it. And if you watch it and look at it closely, you can actually watch it kind of puff up. You'll see the egg puffing up.
Hmm.
And then when you get to that point, you just pull it out. Now, here's the thing. Whenever I do the omelets, my vegetables are not completely cooked.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I like to still know that they're vegetables and not mush.
Yes. Yes. The spinach is not even completely cooked. You don't want to wait too long before you flip it, because if you do, it's going to be hard to flip and it's going to kind of break the egg instead of just folding over and creating like a nice even fold. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to like break it. So you can still do that and you can still eat it, but it's not as pretty. And then I put it on the pan and then I put a sprinkling on top of everything I put inside of it. And that's pretty. And I prefer to use red bell peppers simply because of the contrast between the red and the yellow. And I like to use goat cheese in my omelets. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I still haven't tried goat cheese in an omelet, I don't think.
It's really good.
Oh yeah. There is a restaurant in Florida they have a frittata and they top their frittata with goat cheese.
Oh
Mm.
man.
Oh, it's so good. They have asparagus in it,
Mm-hmm.
tomatoes. Mm.
Yeah, I don't put tomatoes in the omelet because they're runny and I
Mm-hmm.
don't like runny eggs. So just it's a mental thing with me. But you can put
Okay.
whatever vegetables you want in it. Sometimes I'll put um, mushrooms in it. I've done that before. Um, I like fresh onions, so I'll put fresh onions in if I have them. You can do that.
I like to
Asparagus,
caramelize.
huh?
I like to caramelize my onions.
Oh, okay. Well, you can do that if you want. I don't. Whenever I do the omelet, I just sprinkle them in when I put all the other stuff in, let it cook up some, and then when I put it on the plate and I'll make it look pretty, when I cut it up and I start eating it, the bell peppers are crunchy, the onions are still crunchy. They're slightly cooked, so that's what I do.
Okay, next we have green leafy vegetables. And by green leafy vegetables, that's your spinach and your kale, collard greens. What else is green leafy vegetables? Cabbage, right?
Your what are the cruciferous
Cruciferous.
vegetables? Broccoli, Brussels sprouts,
Yeah. All of these are
cauliflower.
rich in vitamin K, which if you take a vitamin D supplement, you need that vitamin K. It's rich in lutein and folate, beta carotene, um, all of it. Brain plasticity. This comes down to um, uh, um, how well your brain functions with change. Like,
Sorry, I was giggling because you were going,
yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to think of the how it went. All of those things also are important for memory retention, which obviously I need to eat a little bit more green leafy vegetables. Um, Green leafy vegetable recipe. I mean, just pick one. We've already talked about spinach. You can take kale and you can make kale chips. I mean, Shalon's got a good recipe for that.
Well, with the
You,
green leafy vegetables, it's recommended that you either eat them raw, lightly steamed, or in a stir fry.
hmm
hmm
So don't overcook them or anything like that.
I mean, I would
Oh,
do spinach in a shake. That works out
well,
well. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
the brain,
taste the
yeah,
spinach.
yeah, the
yeah.
brain food smoothie that I have has spinach in it.
Spinach salad with salmon, avocado, and blueberries.
You got
So
Shalon.
I'm there, Shalon says. I've also got salmon and spinach brain health recipe. So I'm going to do the salad.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a lot of fish, and I know there's tons of people out there who don't like fish.
Hmm.
And that's
So,
why it's, if you don't like fish, like me, get you a good quality supplement of your omega 3s
hmm
and take a
Hmm.
supplement every day. There's nothing wrong with that. It's over the counter. You don't have to have a doctor's order, and they're not too awful expensive. Don't buy
yeah,
the cheapest one because you don't know where it's been or where it's come from.
Hmm.
gonna be burping up because I've bought cheap ones and I burp them
Yes.
up, and you
Yes. And then you burp fish all day.
really good.
Yeah. Next on our list, we have avocados. Avocados are a mono unsaturated fat, top of the line fat that we need. Uh, it helps with the blood flow to the brain. So, like Dee Dee was talking about exercise and blood flow. Um, it also helps to maintain optimal cognitive functioning and prevent cognitive decline because of the fat. It helps to build up our brains. Used to be, now when I very first went into nursing, this is like the late 80s, we were taught that your body can repair itself and make new skin cells, new heart cells, new muscle cells, new lung cells, but the only thing that you couldn't make were brain cells. And they're finding, researchers now are finding that you can make new brain cells, but you have to have
Nice.
optimal nutrition.
That's nice. So that's kind of like when they told us years ago that you need to learn how to do your long division and multiplication tables because you're not always going to have a calculator with you. And
And
then now we
then,
have this.
yeah, yep. And avocados are good in salads. You can eat them with eggs. You can make guacamole. Uh,
You can
I mean,
make dessert with avocado.
yeah.
You can
You could
just
use
eat it.
avocado oil, and as long as it's a good quality oil
Hmm.
and you don't overheat it, you still get the same benefits. And Dee Dee's up here just like, just eat the avocado.
Eat
Avocado
it.
oil actually has a high heat smoke point. It's like
So,
550 like that.
oh,
You
that's
know
good.
what I've done before with avocados that were not quite ripe yet. You leave them on your counter and it softens them up to where you can eat them. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I just didn't want to leave it sitting on the counter. Is I took it and I cooked it. I put some olive oil on it and cooked it. I think it was like 350 for 10 to 20 minutes.
Now, wait a
And then
minute.
I took,
Olive oil on the skin of the avocado?
no, slice it and pit it. And they're like the inside up.
The wedge?
Yes. And then you put the olive oil on that. And I cooked it. And like I said, I think it was at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. And this is just something I come up with in my head. I didn't get it anywhere. I just cooked it, and it softened it when you cooked it. When I cooked it, and then I took because I had some leftover chicken salad, and then after I
Mhm.
cooked it, I put the chicken salad inside the little hole,
Oh, yeah.
and I ate it, and it was good. It was really good.
Sounds like
Yeah.
it would be.
Is I don't want to spoil what you're doing, Karen, but is dark chocolate on your list?
That is the very next thing on my list.
Because you can buy the cacao powder, the dark chocolate cacao powder. Mix that in your blender with an avocado and a little bit of maple syrup or honey and make yourself like a chocolate mousse dessert.
Ooh, that sounds really good. Yeah, dark chocolate's next on the list because it contains the flavonoids and antioxidants that may help improve blood flow to the brain. And here's a big one, especially for me because I've got autoimmune disorders that I basically run around in a state of inflammation all the time, but dark chocolate can reduce inflammation.
So does olive oil.
And yeah, dark chocolate can potentially boost our memory, but you need to have a dark chocolate that is 70% or higher in cocoa content. And I like to get the, I don't know, I call it frou frou uh, candy because it's the dark chocolate bars.
Yeah.
And I like getting the ones that are like 78 or 80% chocolate. And I'll just eat a square every once in a while.
Oh yeah. You buy the if you buy the Ghirardelli chocolate, they have the individual square packets.
Yes, those are really good, especially the ones
Hmm.
with caramel inside.
Does
Yep.
Now,
that
the next
negate
thing,
the dark chocolate?
oh, yeah, the next thing on the list is coffee and tea. Why coffee and tea? Caffeine. It improves alertness for most people. Focus. It can help improve your mood. It also contains something called L-theanine or theanine, however you want to pronounce that, which is an amino acid that promotes relaxation and reduces anxiety, as long as you don't drink too much of it.
So what's the max?
Huh?
What's the max?
2 to 4 cups per day, depending on your weight and whether you're a man or a woman. Men typically do not handle as much caffeine as women can handle.
Really?
Yeah.
Like G forces.
Next, we have whole grains. Now, if you are somebody that has celiac disease, you're going to have to get this set of nutrients from somewhere else. And you can, because the primary purpose for whole grain is that it provides glucose, which, as far as our brain is talking for energy, that's the first one that it's going to go to. Again, there is research that says that high glucose levels contribute to cognitive decline, and that's why Alzheimer's is being tagged as type 3 diabetes. The research, as far as that goes, says that ketones from fat breakdown is actually the more healthy alternative as an energy source for your brain. But whole grains also have things like vitamins and other nutrients and minerals that not just for your brain, but for the rest of your body as well. That's really good for you. All kind of whole grain recipes out there. You can make a plain oatmeal. You can make bread. What all you got to do? Whole grain recipes.
Try the blueberry rosemary oat scones.
There you go.
Yeah, those sound really good. Um, just a note, if you put cream in your tea or coffee, it will slow down your body's absorption of the caffeine.
That's true.
So, and if you put sugar in it, well, sugar is not good for your brain. It's not, so don't.
Yeah. Well, you can sweeten your coffee with honey
You can.
or even maple syrup.
Yep. There are other sources that it's not sugar. So,
Right.
other ways you can do it.
Now, number 10 on the list is, and this is the last one, is turmeric. It contains something called curcumin, which is an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory that could help improve our memory. It has been shown to improve mood and promote new brain cell growth. This is what they're studying for like the regeneration of your brain cells.
hmm hmm
I couldn't find a whole lot of information on that research, just that,
Well,
they're doing it and it may promote new brain cell growth.
it may if it's fairly new research, they may not have a whole lot of it out there yet.
Right. And the thing about research that gets me, especially here in the United States, because in Europe it's not quite the same. The FDA regulates and you've got to do so much testing and so much research before they'll put anything out on the market. And the every three-letter agency that we have has their fingers in the pie when it comes to something like this.
Mm.
But they will research something for 20 years. Eggs are bad for you, right? They'll tell you that for 20 years, and then they'll be like, oh, you know what? No, eggs aren't bad for you at all.
When you're looking at research papers, you need to see who funded them,
Yes.
Exactly.
who's
Exactly.
paying for it, and because if you hear something that's contradictory of, I mean, a lot of this really is just common sense to
Mm-hmm.
eat healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eat food
And
that's actually food.
right, like that would make sense to me that my body would be able to use this better than something that comes from a package.
Hmm.
But if it's contradictory to what you think, I would see who funded it because it might be that somebody's shaking the money tree a little bit to have them twist
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they're skewing
Hmm.
the results.
Of course,
Yeah.
that would never happen.
No,
Well,
never happened.
maybe in a perfect world it wouldn't happen, but that's not what we live
No,
in.
I was just being a smart aleck.
So that's what that S is for on your cup.
So Didi touched briefly on exercise, and I've got
Mm-hmm.
some information on exercise, both physical and mental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Aerobic exercise, so that's things like running and swimming and riding a bicycle, and
Mm-hmm.
that is your big boost, get your heart rate up and keep it at a steady pace for a
Mm-hmm.
certain period of time. It delivers nutrients and oxygen to the brain, which is what you need,
That's
right?
good. Yep. Brain needs oxygen. That's one of the things that wasn't on my list of what our brain needs to be healthy. Oxygen's probably number one on the list.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of what you were talking about with sleep,
Mm-hmm.
sleep apnea is one
Yes.
of the most increasing disorders that we're having in the United States now.
Hmm.
Really?
Yes, yeah, it is on the rise. And a lot of it has to do, according to the doctors, the professionals, a lot of it has to do with the fact that America is getting more and more obese. And the more weight that you have, the thicker your
Right. Yeah.
neck
That
Mm,
makes sense. Yeah.
plays directly into how well your airway stays open when you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
The next type of exercise is my favorite, strength training.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Now,
Yep.
weightlifting and resistance training, you don't have to, you know, pound the iron. You can use resistance bands, or you could use your own
Mm-hmm.
body weight. But it also increases your heart rate. It potentially has brain boosting hormones, things like endorphins,
Yeah.
dopamine, serotonin, and testosterone.
Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy.
And
Happy
happy
people.
people just don't kill their husbands. I'll find that clip and put it in.
Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands. They just don't.
I love it.
Now, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, testosterone, and anabolic hormones like growth hormone factor, and one that is called insulin growth factor 1 are all self produced in the body, right? Like serotonin is produced in our stomach.
Mm,
It's another reason why gut health is important.
yeah.
Yes. So, like for endorphins, endorphins are a pain reliever.
Hmm.
They also help to reduce stress. It helps you sleep better at night, which is why, like, when you work out, you get this boost, not during the exercise. Typically, for me, will I feel this, but when I'm finished,
Yes.
man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the endorphins talking.
That's why I like to work out in the morning.
I'm going to have to start doing that because I'm finding that waiting until the typical time that I've been working out, which is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I've got an alarm set and everything. And 2 o'clock comes and I'm looking at the clock. I got a reminder at 1:30, exercise at 2 p.m. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. So maybe if I just like train myself to do it the first, well, not the first time my feet hit the floor in the morning. I have to go pee first, but then after that,
Well, you got to check your blood sugar.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
very
it's not
important.
hard for me. I just got to look on my phone. It tells me.
Well, still, you got to check that because if you're too high, you don't want to be exercising. If you're too low, you don't want to be exercising.
Right.
Yeah.
The next one is dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure hormone. It's a reward and motivation hormone. That gets a boost of production when you do strength training. Serotonin, which helps regulate our mood. Now, I have a big question mark behind that because there is research that says serotonin reuptake medications for depression and anxiety don't actually work.
Yeah, I've read something about that too.
I'm seeing that more and more. Now, is it just the man made medications that don't work? Because to me, in my mind, if
Mm-hmm.
it's made by our bodies, it's going to work like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Serotonin helps with social behavior, appetite, digestion, memory. It helps with sexual functions. It improves our mood, reduces anxiety, and promotes better sleep. All of this is like sleep, sleep, sleep.
Sleep.
Testosterone, while most people think of it as a male hormone, which it is, women also produce testosterone.
Yes.
Testosterone is linked to muscle mass, strength, sex drive, especially in men and in women. And in men, the better testosterone levels that you have, the better your sperm count.
Hmm.
So go work out, but don't take steroids because that
Mm.
will you will shrivel up your little boys and you won't have any sperm
That will
count.
shrivel up your sperm makers.
You'll have raisins instead of figs.
Yeah. And then you've got those anabolic hormones that I mentioned, which is the growth factor and the insulin growth factor 1. That is for muscle repair and growth. And all of that comes from resistance training. Whether you are doing body weight squats, whether you are deadlifting, whether you are using resistance bands while you're working out to a Peloton workout or beach body work. No, they're not beach body anymore. Body workout, resistance training. And resistance training, if you talk to, her name just left me. Who's the lady that does, she's got dark hair and she's big on menopause? Mary Claire. I'll put her up here on the screen as soon as I find her. Right here. She is a big proponent, especially for women in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, is to do resistance training. Because
Mm-hmm.
as we hit that age, we have shifted from a hormone driven, because our hormones are all effed up at this time, a hormone driven health response to a central nervous system driven health response, which means that she particularly talks about deadlifting, that if you deadlift and you deadlift heavy, she says heavy for you, not heavy compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger or anybody else, right? Heavy for you. Um, the central nervous system kicks in and it makes you feel better. It helps to stimulate the production of these hormones that if your organs are still functioning and able to do that, it helps with heart health. It helps with memory. Again, new neural pathways,
Mm-hmm.
which is that gives me chills just to listen to this woman talk and about the amount of research that she has gone into. And I'm pissed off I can't remember her name. Hang on. I have to look now.
Yep. I
There's a
said
Okay,
no.
her name is Mary Claire Haver, and she has a website called thepauselife.com. Pause, Pause. She's also the author of The Galveston Diet, and she's the one that I was talking about with all this research on resistance training.
I've never heard of
Go
her.
Yeah, go follow her. Follow her for real.
Going to say, we're talking about exercising our brain and creating new pathways and synapses and things. I'll have to look her up, and Karen can put the link in the description. But there's a page that I follow that she gives you little exercises to do with your fingers and things, like
Yep.
starting on your index finger on one hand and on your pinky in the other, and then going that way.
Yep. It's like doing like this.
Right. Going the opposite direction,
Yeah.
or using your hand one way and then trying to move your foot in a different way.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
Dee Dee's doing? Pat and rub.
And rub. Yeah. All of that is brain exercises that you can sit and do while you're in the office.
Yeah. And if you want something a little more involved, go take piano lessons. Why not? Guitar lessons.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I remember reading something. It's been a while back that I read it, a long time ago, that if you engage in like some type of mental stimulus, mental activity while you're lifting weights, it's actually more beneficial.
That's why music is helpful,
Yes.
or listening to a podcast. You could listen to us. Then we have mind body exercises, yoga, tai chi, the gentle body movement with rhythmic breathing, again, oxygen, increases mental focus, improves memory, and balance. Balance is another one of those things that as we get older, we lose it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why as women, if you don't have good balance and you fall, you're not in good health. You're not doing anything that's building bone and muscle. You're going to break a hip.
Mm-hmm.
And statistically speaking, within 5 years, you're dead.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Yep.
And then dancing. I don't think that's one that we've mentioned yet. So, learning new dance moves, again, new neural pathway, learning how to, pat and rub, but like move our feet one way, move our hands another way.
Well, yeah, because you could sign up for like ballroom dance classes or something.
I would love to do ballroom dancing. Love it.
Yeah. But if you don't if that's not your thing, you could YouTube something and learn
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in your own
Absolutely.
home. You don't have to go out and be in front of people if you're very self-conscious like that, you know.
Right. I mean, we're Gen X. We could look up MC Hammer and and
Right.
learn to do, all of his dances. Why not? And then we've
Cabbage.
got the mental exercises that we were talking about, like puzzles and games, jigsaw puzzles, chess, Sudoku,
Mm-hmm.
anything that's going to challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not saying that you should spend all of your time on your phone playing games, but there are a
Mm-hmm.
few games that you can download and play that are challenging like this. Sudoku is one of them. You
Mm-hmm.
could do Sudoku on your phone. You could do ones that one of the ones that I'm playing now is Tap the Screw or something like that's the name of it. But you've got all these screws on a board and you have to let wood pieces fall, but you've only got so many empty spots and you have to figure out how to move the screws to get the pieces to fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Learning new skills, like we were just saying, take a dance class or a guitar class. Socializing, which Delina has already mentioned, interacting with others can help our brain not only come out of a funk, it can, help get rid of depression. It can improve
Mm-hmm.
improve anxiety if you do it gently and a little bit at a
Mm-hmm.
time. And then one of the ones that I had heard, and I did look up a little bit of information on this, was can rearranging your furniture on a regular basis help improve your mental cognition? Now, studies suggest that a stimulating and engaging environment can have a positive impact on our cognition, but there's no direct link between brain function and furniture moving. But I look at it like this. You will definitely develop some new neural pathways if you stub your toe in the dark while going to the bathroom after moving your furniture. So,
You know what? And you got to be physically active to move the furniture.
yes, you do.
Well, yeah, and I also made me think of it's kind of like a puzzle
It is.
Yeah.
because you have
Yeah.
to make sure it all fits a certain way. But I was going to ask Karen, is this your way of so you can rearrange your house all the time?
I tell you what, that family room has not been rearranged since we went in there.
Oh, okay.
Our bedroom has not been rearranged since it's been put in there.
Okay.
It's coming. But I want to mention just as a last thing, and it's something that people today don't really think about, but if you think about 70, 60, 50 years ago, right? We as a people were a lot more physically active than we are now.
Hmm.
We didn't have the computers to sit behind. You had to get up and you had to go work in the garden at one time if you wanted to eat, and you had animals that you had to take care of. I mean, this is all physical stuff.
Hmm.
So there's one thing that you can do that not only will help you be more physical, engage your brain, develop new neural pathways, and that's keeping house, right? Even if you don't rearrange your furniture, move it and dust behind it,
Hmm.
vacuum, sweep, wipe down your walls.
I was just going to mention organizing things would be a very good mental exercise.
Hmm.
Yep. I just did that in one of my kitchen cabinets, as Shalon knows, because she just got a box.
I did. Now I have to rearrange my kitchen cabinet.
Yeah. But I mean, do that on a regular basis. Dusting can be very meditative.
Oh yeah.
Folding laundry, that repetitive action, which is, it goes right in with like deadlifting, doing the same exercise over and over again, like Dee Dee was talking about. If you, it
Hmm.
helps your brain to focus on something,
Hmm.
that you lift better, you build more muscle. And although, like Dee Dee said, our brain is not a muscle, it still needs to be treated as if it were a muscle.
Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it.
So,
I did want to mention a healthy brain food snack that I have actually done a version of this
okay,
and I enjoy. This recipe is called almond stuffed dates.
okay.
So
Is
you
this the one
take,
that's supposed to taste like a Snickers?
well, no, but this is a way, this one doesn't have a nut butter or chocolate in it, but
Okay. Oh
you
man, we're
melt
talking about all this food. My stomach is growling.
Yeah. I'm
melt
starting to get hungry too.
melt your dark chocolate, okay, in the microwave on increments of like 30 seconds or so until it's very melty. And you're going to take your pitted medjool date. You're going to put some almond butter in it. You can actually put an almond in it as well for some texture and crunch. This adds lemon or orange zest to it. And then you can dip it, like half of it in the chocolate. And you've got a very brain healthy snack.
Mm, it sounds really good too.
It's
Hmm.
like a
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
version I use pecans instead of almonds, but
Yeah. Pecan's
I
probably my
imagine
favorite
you could
nut.
use walnuts or hazelnuts,
yeah,
whatever nut you like.
yeah. Pick your nut of choice. Use peanut butter instead of almond butter if you don't like almond butter. Because I am
Yeah.
not the biggest almond butter fan, but and like legit peanut butter, not Peter Pan or Jif.
Yeah.
Not that sugary
Natural.
peanut butter.
Natural
Yeah,
peanut butter. So when you read the ingredients, all it says is peanuts. And
Yeah,
maybe
you're
salt.
gonna have the oil sitting on top, the kind that you gotta mix
Mm-hmm.
and put in the fridge so it doesn't separate again. Yeah,
Is that what you're supposed to do with that?
that's what I do with mine.
How do you
Yeah, that's what
spread
people
it?
do with it.
Okay, if you just take it out, put a few pieces on your bread, go put it back in the fridge, come back to your bread, let it sit a second, then it's spreadable. Like it,
Okay.
yeah. But if you're in a hurry, then yeah, it's going to be hard to spread. But if you can take a moment to let it sit a minute, then it's easy to spread.
It's so good.
But
Okay.
I have a problem. Like I love this kind of food, love it, love it, love it. But I also love fried chicken
Yeah, me too.
and coffee cakes that come in little packages.
Okay,
You
I
know,
don't eat those, but yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, my go-to junk food is potato chips.
uh, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
haven't met one yet that I didn't like.
same.
I did notice though when I was doing the clean eating, which I keep telling myself I'm gonna have to get back to it. And I keep getting sicker and sicker. In case you guys didn't know, I have been getting worse and worse, like with joint pain and muscle pain, and my stomach is absolutely tore up right
Mhm.
now.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
But I am going to have to get back on it because it's the only thing that worked for me. Anyway, to get to the point, I have a sweet tooth, but when I was clean eating, like after the first 3 days, 4 days, maybe 5 days, I didn't really have the craving for the sugar. And the first time that I bit into a strawberry after that, ooh, it was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing is when you stop eating that processed sugar, like you said, give yourself a week and it does suck because you're gonna probably not feel good. You're gonna detox, which means you might have flu-like symptoms.
Hmm.
You know, it's your body using an energy source. It's had to change itself. So that's
Yeah.
your body's reaction to that. But and then you go and you eat fresh fruit or you eat something like a carrot or a bell pepper and you realize how much sugar is in it.
Yeah.
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 Really
It's
sweet.
amazing. So next week, we're not talking about food. I mean, well, we may talk a little bit about food, but the main subject's not going to be food. We are going to discuss some inexpensive things that you can do over the summer with your family or by yourself if you're single, because, nobody's wanting to spend any money right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not wanting to spend any money right now.
Oh, I never want to spend money.
I ain't like y'all.
Do we have anything else on foods for brain health? Any final thoughts?
No, well, shellfish does have omega-3s in it as well. So if a person maybe they don't like the fish part, but they like shrimp, that can be helpful to you too.
Mhm.
Good point. I hadn't even thought about shellfish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it was listed. Nope.
I don't think they put it on. I don't think it has as much in it as it does like the
Yeah.
fatty fish, but like whitefish also has omega-3s in it. It just doesn't have as much.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the fatty fish, you're still going to get the benefits of the omega-3s from even a whitefish. There's just not as much in it. Don't fry it. Sorry, but don't fry it.
I feel like she's pointing at me because if I eat fish,
It's
like
Yeah.
fried.
every once in a while, I get this wild hair that I want fish, but I want a fish sandwich that has been deep fried, and I want it with loads of tartar sauce
Mm-hmm.
on bread, white bread. And none of that's really good for you.
But let's say this because you can't be 100% all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I
We're not
mean,
robots.
it's virtually impossible unless you're willing to carry your food with you everywhere you go. You know, and that includes like to your kids' birthday parties that you get invited to where they have pizza and cake, right?
Hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
experienced this past weekend with my oldest.
Yep.
But aiming for, I would say, I mean, this would be like my personal goal, 85-15, 90-10 of most of what I eat to be the whole food
Hmm.
with that little bit of, you know, when it's a kid's birthday and your child wants Little Caesars, then you
Yeah.
get a Little Caesars.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I just saw a post from Joel Freeman on Instagram, and he had taken a picture of him without his shirt on, which is never an issue.
I
And he
mean, my
said, and
master
he
muscle.
said, I eat junk food and I drink whiskey.
Hmm.
And he was talking about it's about balance.
Yeah.
And if you're new to it, like me getting back into the clean eating, I can't automatically go 90-10. I would
No,
lose my mind.
yeah.
And I would spiral out of control on a binge of something.
Mhm.
So do 50-50,
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
and then work your way up. That's what I'm going to have to do. I
something that helped me years ago because I mean, I'm heavy now and I'm heavier now than I ever have been, but that's all partly from a bunch of surgeries I had because I couldn't walk and stuff. But years ago, I got heavy too. And what helped me lose the weight, and I wasn't exercising or anything, is I just took what I was eating, what I put on my plate normally, I reduced it by a third and put it back in the pot.
Yeah,
So you can do that with changing what you're eating.
portion
Take
size.
everything you eat during a day. Yeah. Well, not only portion size, but if you're eating mostly like 95% processed foods, look at it and take that, cut it by a third, and replace that third with whole foods.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then do that for a few months. And then look at it again and cut the bad processed foods out again by a third. And then replace that with whole foods. And keep going until you're left with nothing or very little.
It is
Yep.
really hard to get into, especially if you've had mostly a standard American diet. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to eat whole food, it doesn't taste good.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. Mm-hmm.
I've experienced this because right out of high school, I I had such a hard time not loading things with sugar because I didn't like the taste of them, or not
Mhm.
drink my salads in ranch
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like the taste of the salad.
Right. The salad was just a way to get the ranch to your mouth.
Well, yeah, and it took me years to get to the point where I am now, where I can enjoy a salad with just olive oil, lemon juice, salt, and pepper.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I graduated in 1999. It's taken a long time to get to this point, but it is
Yeah.
possible. So it's baby steps.
Yeah.
Don't feel like Karen and Dee are saying, don't feel like you have to throw it all out and then just be 100%.
Yeah. No, do a little at a time.
It's
Yeah.
whatever. And Joel says this too, if you go follow him, Joel Freeman, it's be consistent. Do something that you can be consistent at.
Hmm.
Yes. And the only time cold turkey works is on a good sandwich.
All right. I think that's a good place to leave it.
We need a t-shirt that says that.
Yes, we do. All right. Next week, inexpensive things to do over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I'll talk to you in chat and
Okay.
see you next week.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you.